Okay, since the last time I shot the video, I've been pretty busy working on everything. So I'm just gonna catch you up to date. First thing I did was had to go through and make some adjustments on a few things, and so I got the. Let's just comment that out. That's something that I'm working on. I'm adding level requirements to the quests so that you just don't get quests at level 1 if you ain't got the power to defeat it, or the levels to defeat it rather. But one of the trying to remember where I made the adjustments. Maybe it was in Living Entity. Well, I know it was in Game Session. So let's go and find all the references to the. Let's see. But some of the items like the rest the consumables wasn't showing up in the window. It wasn't assigning no consumables to me down here, and because of that, and I had to go and adjust where I had a typo, so it wasn't identifying the type of consumables. I actually listed it as a healing item and not a consumable. So I had to change the wording. And now we're back to normal. One of the other things that I did, well, you notice that the consumable's not here right now. I don't remember if I just used it or not. Let's check it. We'll craft a new one. Okay, so it's back. Okay. The other thing I did was when you level up, it resets the hit points to the new, so your health is refilled every time you level up. And so I'll show you real quick. I'll point it out just before I level up. Alright, as you see, my hit points are 11. My experience is 195, so the next kill is going to put me at level 3. And there we go. My hit points leveled up to 30. My experience is 200, and I'm now level 3. I was working on displaying damage, but I had to fix these. I had to fix the bugs, get everything working correctly. And then the other thing that I've done is I added a new project called RPG Editor, and I started working on it. And this is the editor that I can use to change things. So we could take like the pointy stick, tells you which traders will sell you the item, and there's currently no monsters that drop the item. But we can come in here and we can change values. You know, instead of having 1 as a min damage, we can try 10 to 30. Actually, we'll put it at 300, 100 to 300. And the weapon price 5 with a bunch of zeros. And we'll update it. So then we come over here and change the startup project back to the game. And I'll show you. When we grab the pointy stick and we hit the snake, you see we did 297 point damage on the snake. And so you can 108 damage, 216 damage, 266. So as you see, there's plenty of things. And then let's trade, and we can sell the pointy stick for a bunch of money. That's not a problem. Now we got a bunch of money. just from selling it. We'll buy it back, and that takes our gold back down. And so this is what I've been working on. We'll go back into the RPG editor, and I haven't done nothing with the rest. There's still a few things that I have to add to this. Like first, the weapon. Right now, it's still pulling the spider, the rat, and the snake thing with it, and those are mob weapons. And so one of the things that I still need to come in here and do. Let's not save that. Let's get rid of that too. So one of the things that I have to come in to is in the game items table. Oops, that's not the table, that's stored procedure. In the game item table, we we can look at it and we can see, but what it doesn't tell us is we got all these weapons. This is for the player, and this is what we currently have for the mobs. But we don't have, whether it's a player, a monster, no identifier into what it is. We can specify like this as, I mean, we got healing, we got item type, but we don't have like an item usage or limit to person usage. Like I can assign myself a rat claw, and fight with it, but we don't want to. We want to keep, the mob weapons separated along with the player weapons, keep them separate. And as you see, this starts with 1001 for the player, and for the mob it starts with 1501. To help combat that, oops, wrong thing. To combat that, one of the things I did is say we wanted to create a new item, which I don't have it completely implemented yet, but we get a new game item ID, which is 1003. And to get that 1003, we have to come into the stored procedures, programmability, and then get new player weapon, because that's what it is, new player weapon, right? And so first, we got to look, a player weapon is 1000 to 1500. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to grab all those items that are below 1500. And then we only want to grab the max item ID, which is the highest item ID, and add 1 to it. So if we had, 1486, this would return a value of 1487, or in our case, 1003, since we only have two weapons IDs, 1001 and 1002. And then we can set the different properties. We can say he's got like 5 to 8 damage, and we'll sell it for 6 gold pieces. And then we can add it to Susan, which I haven't implemented this yet, but I'm going to make a little button here that'll allow me to select somebody, or actually I'll probably just select somebody and they'll appear in this data grid here, and then from here I can click on somebody and remove it from them. So I'll be able to remove items from people. This is future. This is what I was talking about earlier, where we need to differentiate the items between characters and mobs. This is, so we don't want a mage carrying a double battle axe, or a fighter carrying a bow, or a cleric carrying, a sword. So we're going to have to eventually differentiate that and be able to to do that. That's kind of where I'm at right now on building this. So now we're getting to a point where we can add new items and remove new items. And I'd like to continue on with that. So if you care to join in and watch, we can do that. All right, so let's get a point. Let me get a point where we're at. And right now I need to add in the trader selection. You know, when a trader gets selected, I need to add a new row to the trader selling item. So we need to come over here to our XAML. Let me make sure it's, yeah, this is the right one. So we need to come over to the XAML and let me find it. It's here somewhere. List of traders who already sell items. And then on the, no, we don't need the data grid. We need to go up, button, update, update. There's radio buttons for the different classes. Alright, where are we at? So I'm trying to find it. Okay, I can't find it. So let me look at this. Combo box current traders. So we'll come back over here and let's there it is. This is where we are, and what we need to do here, yeah, list of traders who can sell item, not, and then this one's list of traders who already sells the item. So what we need here is we need to add a selection change. And let's name it add trader selection. So we'll take this and go into the code. And we need to do the object sender and the selection changed event args. Okay, so it's not, I kind of really don't like, so we'll do it differently. I'm not quite sure why I don't get it like I want, but there's an easier way to, at least I consider it easier. We'll go over here to the design, select the trader, drop down, go to properties, there we go, and then come up here and do selection change right here, and we'll paste the name of the function we want to add and press enter, and now we have the selection changed. Okay, and first we got the data grid dot items dot add, and it's an object new item, so we need to do I'm assuming a data row. It'll tell me in just a second. I'll have to research it. Rows dot clone. Let me try var. Okay. Let's try to. Yeah, I'm not completely sure which object it's looking for. Okay. So maybe it's just taking in the man, I'm having a hard time remembering everything. No, that's not. It's in the main window. I mean, there's other ways to do it, but let's see. No, that's right. It's in the update weapon function here where we set the. No, we don't set the. Yeah, there it is. No. Okay. So I'm gonna have to do some research here. I don't know. Uh, what was I looking for? Was I already got WPF. Add item to data grid. Let's see what object it's looking for. New data item. Okay. So that's the syntax that we need. I'll copy it just for reference. And we'll come down here. And we'll add a new. Okay, so getting ahead of myself here. Let's okay, so they added a new data item. Okay, so maybe I'm just missing a reference. So let's see if there's a. No, it's not giving me a reference. Oh, there it is. Column 1, public string, so I guess it's expecting a string. So we'll just add this string for the combo box data type. So when we do the selection changed, we get the selected item dot to string. And in this case, we're going to do the combo box current traders selected items. Okay, so it did accept it. Alright, let's make sure that that's what it's going to take. So let's see. As soon as it starts, so let's select a pointy stick. No, let's get a new item. And let's assign it to Farmer Ted. Operation not valid item source is you. Item control dot item in source. Okay. So that's the same thing here. So one of the things that we can do is come back up here. Let me stop this to be able to modify. We've got to add it to. We don't add it directly to the grid, we need to add it to the data table, but we so we'll try and cast. That's what this is casting the item source to a data table, maybe? Okay. So now that we have the data table, we can do data row. We'll clone the current data table. Oh. What did that say? Oh, let's just go to the error list here. Data row collection does not contain a definition for clone. Okay. So let's try it this way. Stack Overflow is definitely a good thing. Okay, oh, that's right. Okay, it's new row is the specification, not clone. You clone the and then here we can get rid of. No, we can't get rid of that. We need to come up here and get this. Is what I'm trying to think of. But this is the item, so we'll have to change it to the combo box current traders. And then we come down here and say dt dot add or rows dot add, and we'll add the data row. And then here we just reassign the item source to the data table. So we take item source equals dt, right? Can okay, so it's not the item source, it's the data context. So let's assign the reassign the data context. There we go. Let's give that a whirl and see if it works. Alright, so let's get a new weapon ID. Let's add a trader. Why is... Okay. So we could change this. We'll try and change this to the data context. And see if that'll... Nope, it's still null. Dang it. Alright. We'll research on how to cast the how to cast it from the data grid to the data table, and so we use C type. No, we use the dot to table data view dot to table. So we'll try that one. Let me grab this for reference because I will forget. So let's put the reference there, and we'll come back down here, and this is not data table but rather data view, and then we throw another parentheses around the item source, and do dot to table, and we'll check and see if I'm not used to WPF. I'm still learning. That's why I'm doing this in WPF. So I still don't know all the syntax and all the ways. This is definitely different than regular WinForms C#. Let's skip that. We'll continue. Let's select Farmer Ted. Object reference not set to an instance of an object. Okay, so let's do new data table, and then let's do dt equals. We'll try that. Okay, it doesn't like that. We'll stop it. What's the problem here? Oh, semicolon. Best hide and seek winner in decades. Okay, why is it giving? Alright, let's try it this way. We'll run a test. And let's just convert this and see what this says. This says it's null, so that's where its item source is null. Let's try to cast the data context, because that's, and it's null too. Alright, go to the error. So it's an item collection. Cannot convert item collection to date view. So let's try dot to table here and see if that gets rid of the, no. And we'll get rid of this. Let's try again. So now we got an item collection, and in that item collection we have what? Apparently nothing. Alright, so let's try this a little different. Let's put that there. Let's go ahead and select an item that has people in it. Let's change it. Okay, test. I'm trying to review the values in here. So go to results view. I just got to kind of go through here and look. See, it's got a total count of 3, so they're there. I just don't know where there is, and that's what I'm looking for. Let me try to go to non-public members, maybe. And see if maybe I don't have to object new items, so let's try doing it that way. And it likes that. So if we can dot, it's not going to like that, but maybe it'll like this, and it does. Okay, and what it's saying is it doesn't, wait, no, okay. Anyways, it's saying that the operation is not valid while item source is in use. So I can't use here we got items, so we probably just need to change it to item source. Now, okay, let me go back here, and man, this is so annoying. They just can't make things straightforward. It may just be that this is only a get. Okay. Yeah, I'm completely lost. I don't know the syntax. See, this is what it says. But of course, we both know, or all know, that it's not really working. Even if I take this and change it to that, it's returning a null value. Data table's been created. F10. Oh, now it completely worked. I don't know. So let's try to grab this. You know, my worst enemy is my own memory. We want the traders. and then we want to reassign the data table to this, and we'll do that the same way that we assigned it using the data context here. So if we just take this and copy, and we say that this is equal to dt, that should, let's see if this will do it. Yes, let's see if this will do it. Yes, let's see if it's added, which, yep, okay, so now we got 2 Susans. That was a pain in the butt. Alright, we get new item ID, which I need to clear this out here when I get new item ID. So let me find that, get new weapon ID, click, and we need to add these 2 lines to these 2 lines. And this is where I'm getting the new player ID that I showed you earlier, where I'm taking the max of below a certain value or within a certain range plus 1, and this is where it's actually assigning that value here. We can even, something else I want to do, might as well dot is read only. Nope. There we go. Is it like that? It does like that. So now that the player can't modify this when actually that needs to stay that way. I need to probably put that into on the load so it, but anyways, let's get a new item ID. The weapon name, we'll name it a Juicy Toot. We'll assign it to, okay. So here's another instance. We don't have any rows actually assigned to the data grid at this time. And on creating a new weapon, so what we can do is we can come up here, we'll create a variable. Let me stop because I don't know what it just did. Alright, we'll come up here and get a new variable, and we cannot call this a bool, we'll call it a private bool. Add new item, and by default, if you don't provide a value, it sets it to false. Okay, so we come over here and we want to say if, and I done forgot what I named it, add new item, but we want to do not add new item, and let's add in this, and this will, in case we just want to add an item to another trader, like we added a new trader to the game, and now we want to give that trader some items, so we want to make sure that, well, you know, I was just thinking maybe there's a better way to do it, and there is, but and so when we want to click on get weapon ID, we want to assign this value to true, because we're getting a new weapon ID. So down here we need to add a new column. So the data grid trader sells item dot columns dot add. I don't know why my IntelliSense just says being, and we're going to add a new data grid column. And we're going to call it What are we going to call it? That's a good question. And it doesn't like that. Maybe, nope, okay, so we're going to have to do it different. It doesn't like that. That's not how it was created, so we got to come out here in data grid column. Okay. See, I'm trying to learn WPF, so bear with me. Let me see, what do we got? Oh, that says dynamically. That's not really. Yeah, that's what I did. Let's see. I did data grid. Oh, okay. Data grid text column equals new data grid text column. Oh, okay, that's what it was. Alright. And then we're going to do dot header equals, not plus, equals trader name. And here we just add DGC and get rid of that extra parentheses. And then we need to add a new row, data grid row. Nope, nope. See, this is where we need to clone this. At least in theory, we'll see. Oh boy. Oh. Why can I not select the row in the data grid? I don't know. We're gonna have to go back over here, of course. And get the syntax for this. Okay, that doesn't really help. This is really... Let me try to see what the solutions are here. So we did what I did, and then he binds the columns to it. Items.add is how it's done. Okay. Object new item. So let's do okay. Alright. There we go. Let's see if that'll work. It probably won't. I'll probably have to do like I did here when adding a new item and just do it that way. So let's get a new item ID. So we set that to true. Right here, we just set it. So let's add Susan. And update, and there's no trader name. We got an error. And it's going to crash. Okay, that didn't work out too well. So we'll just copy this code and we'll build the data table and then simply assign the data table to the context. So that's going to change our requirements for this. Matter of fact, let's just go ahead and change it. Let's get rid of add new item here. Where are you at? There you are. Get rid of this. And then we'll come down here. Get rid of that too. Alright, what we need to do is we need to check first we need to check if the columns, no, not data table, this is going to be the data grid, trader select dot columns dot count is greater than 0. We don't want to do equal to 0, but greater than 0. So it does, because it doesn't matter how many it has. If it's greater than 0, then we want to add in this section. And then if it, just to get an extra clarification, just to make sure that we'll change this to less than or equal to 0. And then, there we go. And that way we don't have to worry about creating another variable to store in the memory, although very small, very little. You know, let's just say that we don't have a lot of memory on our machine and what have you. So now what we need to do is we need to build a data table a little at a time. So we'll start with this, and we'll just call it a data column. Okay, And then we're going to do the data column header text. Let's look through here and see what they got. Column name. We don't want to name the column in the collection. We just want to display. Maybe caption. Let's see what other functions and options that we have to go with. Okay. So let's see if it'll take the name, or not the name, I forgot. Just bear with me here. Caption. Okay, it took the caption. And let's add that to a data table. Okay, now the data table's got a column. Let's add a row to the data table. So we'll do a data row. Oh, we can't do that. Yeah, see, it's asking for a data row to add. So we need a data row. And then we can also add parameter values. So we can try a new string. And then we can just add in this. See if that'll work. And then we do, and that's already added to there. So the only thing left we need to do is actually assign the value to alright, so let's do it this way. Let's throw this outside of here, like so. And we won't need this. And then we can come down here, we can say that the data grid trader sales item dot data context is equal to DT. And what that's going to do is it's either going to assign add this, or it's going to create that. So let's see what it does if it runs. Let's just select Susan. Let's change that to 1. That ran, and now we see Susan. Now I don't know. So it starts off with one column automatically. And that's why this was count was 1 and it tried to go through here and do it this way and then turn around and say, well, we ain't got nothing. I mean, come on, you either got something or you don't. You know, don't tell me you got something and then yell at me because I try to add something to you, right? But that's basically what it's trying to do here. Let's try and clear the item source first. Let's see if that makes a difference. That way we clear it every time we click on the button. It clears every time we change to a new vendor. Well, no, we don't want to do that now, do we? Because that's going to reset it every time. And then we crash out. Let me just press on. No, it didn't. Didn't work. And then see, it says object reference not set to an object. So let's quit this. And here we go. Let's figure this out. So we got a data column. I don't know why it's not assigning all these values appropriately, but I'm going to take a little break and get back on it. Sorry, we really didn't get nowhere this time, but I've done a lot of updates to the system, so anyways, I'll see you in a little while.